Hello everybody, this is Gregory and welcome to 5-Minute Catholic Apologetics, where 5 minutes of your time may get you to the divine. Today we're going to talk about ways to optimize your Lenten season. Now before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritui Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, succutora in principio et nunc et semper et saecula saeculorum. Amen. So we do have compendium episodes of how to optimize your Christmas season and your Advent season. And we'll have one on how to optimize your Easter season in 40 days. But I wanted to do this episode on Ash Wednesday. This is the morning of Ash Wednesday. So please go get your ashes. Ash Wednesday I find to be a fascinating day because it's almost like Christmas and Easter, where all these Catholics come out of the woodwork. And parishes, a lot of parishes have 6 or 7 ash services throughout the day, and I'm wondering, like, where are all these Catholics coming from? But it's great. It's a reminder of dust to dust and dust you shall return. And of course, it is the beginning of the Lenten season. Now, just so you know, it is not a holy day of obligation. So if you do not get your ashes, it's not a mortal sin or anything like that. But it's a nice reminder, and also it's a public testimony of your Christian faith. And of course, Catholics aren't the only ones that get their ashes put on their forehead today, but try to make a service if you can't. Really quickly, we'll talk about some of the legalistic stuff of Lent before we get into like how to optimize it. So most of you guys know, because you're Catholic, that on Friday you're to abstain from meat, and on Ash Wednesday today and on Good Friday you're supposed to fast. Now, what does fasting mean? Now, fasting is whatever you want it to mean. We'll talk about that in a second. But the Church says 2 small meals that equal 1 regular meal. But you can do it any way you want. If you want to do a 24-hour fast, that's fine. You know, whatever you want to do. But that's just Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. And it is age specific, though. I have my kids today. I will have them fast as well today. And same thing for Friday and not having meat. We might have an episode as exactly why the Church has this directive not to eat meat, but you're not supposed to eat meat on Friday. That's not to say you should be eating lobster thermidor every Friday. You're not supposed to be eating the meat of animals. So what's Lent really about? Well, we know Advent is like a mini Lent. It's a time of like mini penitence in preparation of the coming of the incarnation of Christ being born. So Lent is the full out penitence time, but it's normally typically manifested in 3 ways: increased prayers, fasting, and almsgiving. So let's look at each of these. So we have an episode here on how you should tithe your time. So we know tithing is 10%, and you know, Catholics give whatever they want. There isn't an exact number. We're not Protestants where there's an expectation it's exactly 10%. But I would say tithe your day 2 hours to Christ, whether that be praying the Bible or going to Mass or doing an extra rosary. I would tell you that Lent's a great time to do chaplets of divine mercy and offer it up for the souls in purgatory. You could do a novena during this time. You could do a 40-day Lenten novena. I mean, there's novenas of different lengths. They're not just 9 days. Daily Mass. I mean, there's tons of things you can do to increase your prayer life. But this is the time of Lent that you should really try to do your 2 hours of Catholic stuff, whether that even be listening to Gregorian chants or just listening to Catholic content. Learn more about your faith, do Father Schmidt, the handsome Father Schmidt, do Bible in a year, whatever you want to do. So increase your prayer life. Go to daily Mass. You're not required to, but go to daily Mass if you like. Just increase your prayer life. Fasting. So this and all these things, prayers, fasting, and almsgiving, are all scriptural. You see it in the Old Testament. You see it in the story of Jonah, where the king of Nineveh is wearing sackcloth and ashes. You see Christ even say these things in the gospel. So these are all scriptural. So even Protestants can agree with these things. Fasting is really up to you. Some people, like the religious, like the nuns and monks, will do black fast. So black fast is no animal products throughout all of Lent. So this is just not meat, but this would be butter, milk, and cheese and so forth. But you are expected to do some sort of sacrifice. I think Lent lots of times is encapsulated as, what do I have to give up? And see, that's not a good mentality. Like, what do I have to give? Oh, I have to give up coffee. Oh, we give up coffee. No, you want to give up things and offer it up. Offer it up for the souls in purgatory and offer it up in general. So when you want to fast, figure out how you want to do it. If you want to do a daily fast, just a compressed eating window where you only eat from 1 to 7, that's fine. Now again, the church says you just have to fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, but there are Catholics that will fast every day. You don't have to, but part of that fasting is giving something up. Now understand, you don't have to give up something. This is not a church teaching. I have to give up chocolate. I have to give up sweets. You don't have to. You can just increase the other 2 things if you want. But the point is, it's a time of penitence and prayer and to do some sort of sacrifice. And I think most Catholics just see it as it's just a time I'm going to give up chocolate and just keep doing all the all the other things I've been doing all along. But I'm giving up coffee and chocolate, so it's okay. But fast. Figure out what's a good fasting schedule for you. And again, try to, fast every day or every Friday or whatever you want. But of course, minimally, you only have to fast on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. Almsgiving. So there's different ways you can do this. Clearly, you can increase your weekly donation to the church. If you want to give more money, increase it by, 50%, 33%, 10%, whatever it is. You can also do works of mercy, the corporal works of mercy. And you should be doing the spiritual works of mercy already, praying for the dead and informing the ignorant, admonishing the sinner, all these things like this. But the corporal work. So if you want to work at a soup kitchen a couple times a day, a couple times during Lent, or go work at a thrift store, or there's tons of things that you can do, volunteer organizations, nonprofits, and so forth. You can do that. One of the great things that the church has is 40 days for life. This is more in the prayer, but they do 40 days for life in Lent. This is when you go and sign up for an hour and you pray peacefully in front of an abortion clinic. And if you're in a large city, you can do this. Another thing you can do going back to prayer is sign up for adoration, perpetual adoration, where you adore Jesus Christ in the monstrance. You can sign up for an hour. That's another way to increase your prayer. But when it comes to almsgiving, again, that's really up to you. But those are the 3 major things. It's prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So find ways to incorporate that. The whole point is elevating yourself during Lent. It's being humble, giving up. Think of just the publican versus the Pharisee. The Pharisee, this is in Luke, right? The Pharisee says, "Oh, look at me, thank God I'm not like this horrible tax collector." And what does the tax collector say? Is it Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. So we need to have this mentality of humility and penitence. And again, increase your prayer, increase your almsgiving, increase your fasting, do more works of mercy, and so forth. And I think one of the things is, don't get too legalistic. Like, oh no, I gave up chocolate. Oh no, I forgot, I ate chocolate. Going back to Friday. So we're not supposed to eat meat, but let's say you accidentally eat meat. You just forgot. That is not a sin. Now, if you are like, this is Friday, I don't care, I'm going to Chick-fil-A, that is a sin, and you should go to confession for that later on. Speaking of confession, during Lent is typically the time where you're only supposed to go to, minimally, you're supposed to go to confession once a year. So a lot of times you'll see more confession services, especially leading up to the Triduum. So this is a time to go to confession because you do want to receive the Eucharist on Easter. But don't get too legalistic on like, oh, I ate chocolate, I gave up chocolate, oh my God, self-flagellation, all that. Don't get legalistic, but don't at the same time willfully eat meat on a Friday when you're not supposed to. Lastly, I would tell you, try to continue these things on after Lent. It's not like, Mardi Gras, we have carnival season, the day, Fat Tuesday yesterday, I'm just drinking and feasting and, and then it's like, okay, Lent 40 days, and then I'm back to drinking and feasting and partying. No, you want to continue some of these things on. I know personally for me, I didn't do the rosary every day most of my life, but I can't remember how many Lentens ago I started to do the rosary, and then I just continue to do it. So I've done it every day since then. So you want some of these things to continue, some of these good habits, some of these virtues that you're doing to continue after Lent into the Easter season and into preferably the whole year. Now, in terms of this channel, I'm just going to do a little modification. So there won't be any episodes on Sundays, and there's not going to, I know some Sundays that there haven't been episodes, but there's not going to be any episodes on Sundays, and there's not going to be any episodes on the Easter Triduum, which are the high holy days of the Catholic faith. So that's going to be Easter Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. And then I'm not going to post any comments. Comments won't be allowed on Ash Wednesday, and that's which is today, and then every Friday there won't be any comments on. That's just my little way in terms of the channel of giving back. But that's my little sacrifice, in addition to all the private stuff that I will be doing, which is only Only I know the little things I'm doing. That's another thing too. It's like you don't want to be like, it's Lent, everybody. I'm going to post on Instagram all the great things that I'm doing because I'm so holy. You know, that's very Pharisaic. You don't want to be like that. Guys, all right. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. I'm not going to tell you to post comments because you can't post comments. Please share with other people. Until next time, take care. God bless and happy Lent.